The South African Social Security Agency says it is making alternative plans for social grant payouts. This comes after a government announced that the South African Post Office has been put on provisional liquidation. SASSA has been using the Post Office as one of its main agencies for the disbursement of grants. We're now joined by Paseka Letsatsi. He speaks for the agency to tell us about some of the contingency plans in place. Thank you very much for your time this afternoon. What do social grant beneficiaries need to understand about how the process is going to play itself out and whether they'll be able to get their money?
Good afternoon, Judy, and thanks for having us. We can confirm as the South African Social Security Agency that everything is being done in our power to make sure that beneficiaries get basically what is due to them. We are engaging all relevant stakeholders, and in this instance, we're engaging the Post Office itself, the Post Bank. We have engaged with the banks as well and the retailers, just to make sure that whatever happens, if it goes to the level where the Post Office is indeed liquidated, we do not necessarily have the beneficiaries suffering to get what is due to them.
So immediately there is no threat on the back of this news of the Post Office?
Look, I may not speak on behalf of the Post Office. I would speak on behalf of SASSA and on behalf of the beneficiaries, because what is important here is to make sure that beneficiaries of SASSA, when they go to get their money month end, we do not necessarily come up with excuses. And as an organization, that is our priority. That's hence we have engaged the Post Office. We know that people will be going to Post Office to exchange, to swap the cards which have expired. But in case where, for an example, you have glitches or whatever, anything that is which happens to the Post Office, we have those measures in place to make sure that if people do want to change their payment method, because what I want to emphasize, Dudu, as well, is that people don't necessarily have to get their money from Post Office only. There are other multiple payment channels where the people can then be able to access. They can open their bank accounts. We have, as an organization, as SASSA, agreed that we are going to have overtimes in case people say, I no longer want to have my bank account here, I want to change it to get it on another channel. We have agreed as management that we need to make sure that we open even on Saturdays so that people can then be able to make sure that they change from one payment channel to the other.
I mean, SASSA has been hit by a number of scams, and for every crisis, there's an opportunity for someone to make an extra buck, and not necessarily sometimes in the right way. So what do beneficiaries of social grants need to understand in terms of communication and official communication coming from SASSA and not necessarily anybody else?
No, definitely. We know that when there's any hiccup or problems, you would find the fraudsters, and they thrive on those problems. But basically what we have agreed, we presented our communication strategy yesterday, and I think it was well received. One of the things which we need to do is to make sure that our provinces basically go and meet as many stakeholders as possible. And if you can just give me 2 seconds to explain. In this instance, we would want to meet with the churches, we would want to meet with the traditional leaders, we want to engage the councillors. We would also encourage our communicators or our staff members in this field of customer care to go to the schools so that the information which we share with the public, it's understood and it's in sync. We are alive to the fact that me and you can think or make sure that we help those who are in need, but the fraudsters, they do not necessarily care. They will definitely use whatever opportunity available to them to make sure that they defraud the vulnerable. But we are ready to we'll make sure that we defend and we protect the beneficiaries of social grants at all costs.
Thank you very much for your time this afternoon. Paseka Letsatsi speaks for the South African Social Security Agency.